Happy Friday! Oh my goodness. So I was so excited because I had finally gotten a full night's sleep where the 1-year-old did not wake me up. And I think I must have had 3 full nights of pleasant rest, sweet dreams. And last night, for whatever reason, she decided to wake up at midnight and 3 a.m. and 4:45 a.m. And so I woke up this morning just feeling so exhausted and so tired. Have you ever felt so exhausted that you thought you might die? So I woke up this morning and I was literally like telling my 5-year-old, cancel everything, because we had a piano lesson this morning. So I knew that I had to take her to piano lessons and we had to run some errands after piano. And today's Friday, so I teach Zumba Fitness on Friday night at the community center here in town. And so I was like, call off everything, cancel piano, cancel Zumba, cancel Christmas. I am so tired. Cancel Christmas. She was like, Mom, you can't cancel Christmas. And those of you that know me, obviously I don't want to call off Christmas because it's my favorite time of year. That and the fall season. I love the winter. But have you ever just been so exhausted and at the end of yourself? I was yawning all day yesterday. Like, it felt like every second, every conversation, and I almost feel like I have the sensation to yawn just talking about the fact that I'm so tired that I want to yawn. So I just want you to know, happy Friday. You're not by yourself. Life is full of crazy unexpecteds, like, oh my gosh, my 1-year-old is still not sleeping through the night. And I'm dealing with stuff that I never dealt with my first child. Kids are just so different. I was born in a really large family. We have 8 kids. Well, I say really large, but we've got all these, social media people that have lots and lots of kids. But I saw somebody on social media one day who was talking about, I think they must have had like 9 children or something like that, which that's not crazy to me because I'm one of 8. But with things as difficult as they are to provide for kids, like everyone has to work just to make a living now. Things are more expensive now. They've made it more difficult. It's very programmed and all the things. But anyways, I saw this one family and I remember her saying, with all 8 or 9 children, I remember her saying something like, the hardest it ever was when she had only 2. And I remember that because, she had like 9. And it made sense to me, and it definitely resonated with me, but it also makes sense because, when you've got just the one, all of your attention is for the one. And I remember even I went through different feelings of feeling guilty that I was about to have another child, and how would that make the first one feel, and it would take my attention away from them, and it did. Our relationship drastically changed. It's not that it's bad, it's just that it's so different. I couldn't cuddle with her, and I had 2 cesarean deliveries, and that was not my plan, but that's what God allowed for our life. And I was not prepared to not be able to just cuddle with her. Even when I was pregnant with the second one, I was able to still cuddle and love up on the first one and hold her in my lap. And then we went through this strange phase of, after the second one was born, it was like all of a sudden, by the time I had recovered from the surgery and could handle the weight of her 5-year-old body on my stomach and the surgery and all of that, I was like, oh my gosh. I told my husband, she has drastically changed. She's so much bigger. And it just felt like our relationship had changed so much. And, there's part of me that kind of grieved that I couldn't pick her up and toss her around the way I did before and just cuddle with her. And I try to be affectionate with both of my children and things like that. But it's hard sometimes. But I felt like, yes, that makes me feel a little bit better that somebody with a 9 is saying it was most difficult with 2. And I think I've said somewhere, I don't know if it was one of the other little blog videos, the non-podcast as I call it. I don't know if it was in one of those that I was kind of saying, definitely never thought that I would feel angry at one of my kids or want to, you know, have that temptation to yell. And I never felt that until I had a second one and they were maybe being put in danger by the first one. So anyways, today was crazy, guys, but it helps sometimes to have, you know, we always want to feel validated, but it really does help to have at least somebody out there saying, hey, I feel what you're feeling and you're not alone, and it is hard with 2 kids, and this is not to like freak anybody out that has 1 child, like you haven't done anything or you haven't experienced anything. Not saying that at all. No matter what you're doing, no matter how many kids you have, I'm sure you're doing an amazing job. And if you have another one on the way and you've only had one up to this point, don't freak out based on what I'm saying. I'm just saying in my experience, it was a little bit more challenging hitting 2. And so when my husband, you know, we would joke back and forth, we'd go through different feelings of, you know, are we done? And I think when we met, I have so many hilarious stories, but when we first met, I know he told me he wanted 6, and he'll say, oh, I never said that, you know, and at this point, obviously, we haven't had 6, but we kind of chuckle and laugh back and forth about how many kids we're having and all of that. So it's just kind of funny. But anyways, to finish this crazy little morning of just trying to get to the piano lesson, sometimes it feels like when you have an appointment, whether it's the dentist or the eye doctor or whatever, piano lessons, you know, you have to go teach a class or you have to go to class yourself, it always feels like that's when the meltdowns happen. That's when the freakouts of I can't get the sock and the shoe on happen. And so today, you know, I wasn't having to deal with that. I was kind of surprised, but then everything else started going bad, like something falling down and the bag dumping itself out. I didn't even have help from the child, and the diaper bag just kind of imploded all over the place and everything fell out. And then after all of those things, getting out to the car, it's very hot outside, and on the way, usually I hit one of the children's heads on the car trying to get them in the car seat. Today I closed my own hair in the door, shutting the door to get into the car to drive. So you're not alone. If you have ever hit your child's head on the car trying to get them in, you're probably almost not a parent if you hit your kid's head on the car door trying to get into the car. And if you have ever slammed your own head in the door or snatched your hair in the car and just closed it between the car and the door jamb of the car, you're not alone. Don't tell me I'm alone. Be with me. I want to be in my own space. So happy Friday. I didn't cancel anything. I didn't ask anybody else to cancel Christmas. I didn't call off any more things. I'm just taking a deep breath and going through the motions of the rest of the day. I still have to put my playlist together. I came home and fed the kids, but you know, something kind of cute happened as we were leaving piano. We always have a great time visiting with our piano teacher, and anyways, we left and went to, Charlotte was like, Mommy, can we go get Starbucks or Chick-fil-A? It's not a Sunday, Mommy, so you know Chick-fil-A is open. Yes, I know. Let me open my wallet too, you know. So we didn't go to Starbucks because, you know, we love Starbucks coffee, but yeah, a little expensive. But we do love their coffee. She loves their grilled cheese, and she really loves their cake pops, but we have to really monitor those. We don't do good with lots of sugar. But we went to Chick-fil-A. Long story short, we got stuck on the line. Sometimes things just happen, right? Like, why did the bag dump? Why did I shut my head in the car door? Why on the one day when the kids were not having meltdowns, we were finally getting somewhere peacefully, and then I started melting down myself. You know, just crazy things, stupid things. Sitting in the drive-thru. Why is it taking so long to get our food, Mommy? It's like, well, sometimes it just takes a minute, and then the little manager comes running out. We've been kind of waiting for a while. The person in front of us hadn't got their food. And so they finally brought our food, and the car in front of us still hadn't moved, so we were still stuck there. Like, Mommy, why are we waiting now? We got our food, so well, I can't hit the car in front of me. We have to wait because they haven't gotten their food. She's like, well, what's taking so long? So out comes the little manager. He's got this little bag. They're like, we're just trying to go the extra mile today, you know, and I just knew that I had to do it the long wait, but it was such a nice little touch. And they handed us this little stuffed animal cow, and my daughter was really excited about that. And so we got a little Chick-fil-A cow, and he's got a little map and a cute little red hoodie. And the manager's like, we're just trying to go the extra mile today, and you know, thank you so much for choosing our store. And I don't know about you guys, but I grew up in Plant City, and we waited a long time for Chick-fil-A to come into Plant City, if you know what I'm saying. So we would keep supporting them until, you know, the end of time. I'm reminded of the Tim Hawkins song. He's a Christian comedian. I follow him. He's hilarious. He sings this whole song about Chick-fil-A. Why aren't you open on Sunday? Chick-fil-A, what a nasty rotten game to play. Now I'll have to settle for Subway. Every time I drive by Chick-fil-A, I think of that song. And we actually passed the Subway on the way to the Chick-fil-A this morning, so it's just really kind of funny. And anyways, my daughter's like, well, that was very nice. And it was just a cute little reminder that sometimes a bunch of little things fall apart in the day. You're not by yourself if you've shut your head in the car door, or your hair got stuck between the door and the jam. If everything falls out of the bag on the way out the door, including the drink that you just made so you're not dehydrated while you sit through a piano lesson and are still a breastfeeding mom like myself, then you're not alone. And if everything else is falling apart and the tire, you know, and at least that's what I told my daughter, because there have been times when the tire wasn't okay. I said, at least, you know, we didn't have a flat tire. In this heat, we had to wait in the line for just a little minute. Mommy went a little crazy closing her head in the door in accident. But everybody's safe and healthy, and the car drove us where we needed to get, and we had to wait in line a little bit, but we got this cute little cow because they went the extra mile today to make people feel special, and ultimately they want people to come back, right? Which we will, because we waited so long for them to come, and it took them a long time to put Chick-fil-A in Plant City. I've got lots of friends that will vouch for that. Anyways, friend, you're not alone, and I am excited because I took the time to actually pause on podcasting on YouTube until I get the channel up. I'm going to be creating, I'll come back on and do a little announcement for that, but I'm really excited because I got a microphone stand, and I'm actually going to be setting everything up on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, get my RSS up. So I'm working on that, and I will come back and do a little intro video to let you guys know what the videos are going to be like. It's not going to be me preaching a sermon. It's really going to just be like real live stuff, mom life, closing your head in the car door on the way to piano lessons and having chats about Chick-fil-A and the cow, you know, funny things, a little bit of humor, a little bit of real life from a Christian mom perspective, while trying to put Christ first in my own life, not being ashamed of the gospel of Christ, choosing him first and daily, which I did, by the way, before all of those things happened to me. Before I closed my head in the car, closed my hair in the car, I actually did get on my Bible, get going with my Bible study first thing this morning. So I encourage you today to spend some time with the Lord. Stay tuned, because I'm super excited to come back and just kind of, you know, talk a little bit about what the podcast is going to look like. And I can't wait to get things going. You know, I don't have like the perfect setup, but God's given me a voice and I have things to share, and I know that I'm not alone in tripping and falling flat on my face. So I am so excited to just share what's on my heart and just kind of, you know, keep things super real. That's what Well For Goodness Sake has always been about, was trying to keep it real. And so as soon as I realized that the type of blogging I was doing was not keeping it real, I moved on, shut it down, and I'm back again to, you know, just spend time with Jesus and share with other people about some of the fails and the fun times and what God is doing in our life, and probably some real life stories along the way from what we've experienced going through the immigration process. I finally reached a point where I'm free to talk about some of the things, because going through an immigration process and some of the stuff that my husband and I dealt with, it's so heavy. The racism and the financial strain and the pressure it puts on your marriage and all of the things we weren't really prepared for what we were going through. And I finally reached a point where I'm free to talk about some of it, because it was so heavy for a long time. And when we lost our business just a few years later after moving back to this area, It was just one thing right after the next, and so I wasn't free. And it does take time to connect with the Lord, get close to Jesus, spend those moments with him so that he can free your heart. So it's like, okay, other people have gone through this. Other people have lost a business. I know a lot of people that have gone through immigration processes. I know a lot of people that have struggled even worse than we have. I know a lot of people that have medical conditions, and I know people that have had strokes that didn't recover as quickly as I did, or their recovery process looks so different and was so much more difficult. There's other diseases and disabilities and things that I don't have or that I haven't had to deal with. And so I am finally free and at a place where I'm wanting to talk about it and just connect with other people that have gone through the same thing while trying to pursue Christ, and allow him to change my perspective so that I can properly respond and relate to other people. But there's probably going to be some humor. I've always had a little bit of a little bit of an artsy brain. I'm definitely left brain hemisphered, and you gotta stay connected to some of the things that keep you grounded, but artsy and musicy, and I've always been writing stuff, and God has just given me these poems that I've written recently, and I just wrote a song that I'm really excited about. So I am not quite at the place where I want to say I am a musician and a poet, but I definitely feel that in myself. I've written things. I started a lot of books a long while back, and a lot of what, I have a desire to maybe publish some children's books in the future, and so I don't know all of what God has, but I'm very, very, very excited about what he's doing in my heart and in my family's life. It is not perfect. It is not a perfect marriage. It's not a perfect relationship. And we definitely have the stubbing your toe and falling on the deck on the way out the door moments, and slamming our head in the car. In fact, when I had strokes, I'll talk a lot about that probably, because I'll probably, share that story at some point when I'm doing the actual podcast. But right after the strokes, I would run into everything. I would run into the wall. I'd run into the garage door. Big door, how big a garage is. So there's that big opening. And instead of walking through that, I would crash into it. And it was always, this might be backwards for you on the camera, but it was always my left side. And once in a while, I'll still hit my face. Like when I open the freezer drawer, the freezer is a solid color of white. And the shelves stick out, but they're all white on the inside of the freezer. And I will occasionally still hit right here in the temple area. And I've had my eyes checked. I wear glasses, but I don't have a really strong prescription. My eyes are fine. They haven't drastically changed since the strokes. The most I deal with is left hand issues, running into things once in a while, whacking my kids with my left hand especially. I've hit my children in the head a few times, and breaking most of the dishes that I had back between 2018 and 2019. But anyways, that's a story for another time. I'm excited to just kind of get into some of those details and share the struggle, the grief, but also the humor and what God's done in our life as we kind of go through those stories together. So stay tuned. Podcast is coming. I will do a video announcing what the podcast is going to be about, even though I've shared it briefly here. But friends, I just thought you should know that nobody has it all together. It doesn't matter what social media looks like. And maybe unfollow if you're following people that make you feel like you're way lesser, or they have it all together and you're never going to measure up. Maybe don't follow the Ken and Barbie profile. Maybe follow people that encourage your heart. I know I've done that many times over the years, kind of cleaning the roster, and I actually thought I've almost deleted Facebook and Instagram a bunch of times, but I'm using the platform right now for the Lord and for teaching some of the fitness classes, and we'll just kind of see where that goes. But I'm excited to share with you, and I pray that you have a wonderful day today. And if you close your hair in the door of the car, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. You got a comb, you got some shampoo, you can fix it back up. I love you guys. I hope you have a great day, and I'll be back soon. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for podcasts coming up. I'm going to be applying for a bunch of platforms. I'm excited as I get my little logo ready. You have to have a little image ready for your different platforms that you're going to be using, and I cannot wait to get going. I'm just itching to get on here and share some of the hilarious stories from our past and just talk about some of the important things in life. I love you. Have a wonderful Friday. I'm going to go get ready for my class, but I will be back soon. Stay tuned. And remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. If you take the time to dwell on the things that are true and real, like Philippians 4:8 says. So I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon.